it is recommended that the original tax proposal be converted into a flat rate emissions tax effective from the 1st of September 2010. The more fuel efficient your car, the less tax you will pay. We don't require any declarations right now. Furthermore, it is proposed to increase taxes on fuel by 25.5 cents a litre. This includes a 7.5 cents a litre increase to contribute to the funding of a new multi-product petroleum pipeline between Durban and Gauteng, and an increase of 8 cents a litre in the Road Accident Fund levy. While excise duties on tobacco and alcoholic products will be increased in accordance with the present policy stance, we wish to signal a stronger stance in our efforts to combat the abuse of alcohol. The tax burden benchmarks for alcoholic beverages will be reviewed during the course of the next year. Gambling is subject to various forms of taxation at both provincial and national level. These arrangements will be reviewed to ensure efficient tax collection. I propose to review the current treatment of winnings in the hands of gamblers as exempt from personal income tax. Measures will be considered to limit opportunities for money laundering, unlicensed online gambling, and other abuses that we see in this industry. I thought you'll applaud for that. Mr. Speaker, the House will join me, I know, in paying tribute to millions of South Africans who pay their taxes on time, who declare their income fully, and to the many who have contributed to a more efficient tax system by using the e-filing arrangements. SARS will continue to offer a prompt service to those whose affairs are in order. The 3.2 million individuals who submitted their tax returns on time received their assessments within 24 hours in the recent tax season, and that will testify to our approach on this question. But there are those who evade their responsibility, and further steps are underway to tackle this tendency. Getting everyone to pay their fair share is a critical means of keeping the overall level of tax rates moderate. We can't escape paying tax and still ask for reductions in tax. It doesn't work in life. Government will take further steps to reduce tax avoidance and tax structuring by tightening company car and other fringe benefit rules, and through measures to ensure that employer deductions are fully reflected in the gross income of employees. Steps will be taken against several sophisticated tax avoidance arrangements, such as the use of transfer pricing and cross-border mismatches. Using third-party information and targeted lifestyle audits, SARS will take a much tougher approach towards cash-based businesses who avoid VAT. Tough action on firms who do not pay over PAYE and other taxes, even though these have been deducted from employees, will be taken. The taxpayers of South Africa are not lenders of last resort, and SARS is not a bank. SARS has always shown leniency and understanding for those who come forward voluntarily to disclose prior non-compliance in line with international practice. And this will be formalized in a voluntary disclosure program, which will exist for 12 months from November this year. Non-compliant taxpayers may use this window of opportunity to disclose and pay undeclared tax liabilities at a reduced interest charge and without penalties. Consideration will also be given to align exchange control violation penalties with this voluntary disclosure opportunities. What we are saying here is that there are still a significant number of South African taxpayers who don't fully disclose their income, who benefit from all sorts of things, including government tenders, and then don't pay tax on top of it. Now, this is an opportunity to come clean. If a SARS auditor finds you, you will pay 200% penalties, and you won't get any breaks. So I hope that all of South Africa will support SARS in this endeavor. Mr. Speaker, our moral contract with the taxpayer is that we will take every measure possible to allocate public spending towards the priorities that they support, and that spending will be as efficient as possible. This year's budget is the first to be shaped by government's new framework of outcomes and associated targets. These were anticipated in last year's medium-term budget policy statement, which set out the key spending priorities as the following. Firstly, improving the quality of basic education. Secondly, enhancing the health of our people. Thirdly, making our communities safer. Fourth, fostering rural development. Creating jobs, fifthly. And lastly, investing in local government and human settlements. Mr. Speaker, the consolidated budget of government for the next year is 907 billion rands. And over the next 3 years, we will be spending 2.9 trillion rands. The fiscal framework makes provision for an increase in spending over the MTEF period amounting to 87 billion rands. In addition, about 25.6 billion rands has been identified through savings. Thanks to all of the ministers for their generosity. So in total, we are able to add 112 billion rands to the baselines of departmental budgets. Of these amounts, over half go to provinces and municipalities for education, health, municipal infrastructure, and human settlements, reflecting our commitment to sustaining growth in our spending on our key priorities. Honorable Speaker, to achieve the outcomes we have set ourselves in education and health, we need better coordination and alignment between national policy imperatives and provincial budgets. A breakdown in this regard is a recipe for failure. We have to find a mechanism that balances the constitutional responsibility of provinces to determine their own budgets with the constitutional entitlement of citizens to education and health services. Real growth in public spending over the next 3 years is about 2% per year. This is lower than the rapid growth in public spending over the previous 3 years. But it still provides for substantial increases in our key spending programs. Mr. Speaker, in October, the government announced an additional 5.4 billion rands for spending on our HIV and AIDS program to be able to take on more people and improve the effectiveness of our treatment programs. And Minister Motsoaledi has told me he's very happy with that. Taking into account further policy measures to broaden access to those co-infected with TB and women and children with CD4 counts lower than 350, a further 3 billion rands is allocated to this budget as well.